Okay, so, right. New Chinese street food just dropped, and stay with me on this. You see, recently, in China, the economy hasn't been so hot, so thankfully, everybody's favorite city management departments pumped their brakes a little bit and actually let people make a living. So, against the backdrop of less jobs to go around, the street's gotten this new influx from the younger post 90s generation, which, being more internationalized, has brought stuff like sushis, baked goods, that sort of thing. And within this new wave, in pockets, it seems to have brought these noodles too. Basically, what you're looking at are some alkaline noodles, but topped with mashed potatoes, like Western KFC style mashed potatoes, a thick soup, some chili oil, and, being street food, the predictable smorgasbord, all mixed on the spot and served. The mashed potato thickens the flavorful sauce, and everything goes down in a couple delicious bites. Now, given the similarities, this dish was probably an adaptation from Chongqing's Liangmian, which chops up some fried potatoes and serves with similar fixings. Someday, in the future, we'll cover the original, but for now, let's make some mashed potatoes. So, just a bog standard mashed potato here, nothing fancy. 2 russets, about 700 grams worth, peeled and then cut into chunks. Then, to some boiling water, we'll toss in a teaspoon of salt, boil those for 15 to 20 minutes till soft, and then drain. Then, to those, we'll throw in the predictable, healthy knob of butter, about 30 grams worth, together with the slightly less predictable tablespoon of milk powder. If you haven't tried milk powder in your mashed potatoes, definitely do give it a whirl sometime. It's a great way to amp up the milk flavor without needing cream. Then just mash that all up, salt it to taste, I added another quarter teaspoon, and set that aside. Then, for the noodles, this dish uses the same sort of Youmian or oil noodle that you'll see in a lot of the other classic Sichuan cold noodle dishes. Youmian work off of a base of fresh alkaline noodles. If you can't find the Sichuan style, fresh Japanese ramen is practically the same thing, and actually what we're using today. And if you can't find either, dried is fine in a pinch, and I'll also toss a from-scratch recipe for you down in the description if you're in the market. Either way, to a pot of boiling water, toss in your noodles and cook them until they're about 85% done, aka al dente. Strain, dump them on a plate, and now we can cool our noodles. So, in front of a fan, first drizzle over about 2 tablespoons of oil, preferably tzaizio or maybe peanut, and then start mixing it in front of said fan. This motion here is called dan. All it is basically continuously lifting and jiggling the noodles with a pair of chopsticks to spread things even and let the steam escape. Now, besides that, this is a street food after all, so it will come with a lot of toppings. Now, if you're feeling lazy, these are what we think are the most important additions here. And again, for all of this kind of stuff, batch prepping, aka meal planning, what you can always makes the most sense for a home kitchen. All that said, the one thing that really does make this dish a little unique compared to its noodle progenitor is this addition. Our guess is that people might have been a little inspired by the gravy that comes with KFC mashed potatoes and then whipped up a geng. Now, a geng is just a thick soup. There's a million of them in China. Hot and sour is a geng, hulatang is a geng, etc., etc. For this dish, there doesn't seem to be too much of a standard yet, so we just whipped up a super simple geng together with a bit of carrot and enoki for a little texture. So, to make it, to a hot wok, swirl in 1 tablespoon of oil and then toss in a ½ inch worth of minced ginger together with the white bits from 2 scallions. Fry those over a medium flame until they're fragrant, about 30 seconds, then also add in 60 grams each enoki mushroom and julienne carrot, both cut into 1-inch sections. Fry those until they've started to shrink a bit, about 3 minutes or so. Then swirl in a tablespoon of liaojiu, aka Shaoxing wine. Good mix, then do the same move with a ½ tablespoon of soy sauce. Mix well, then go in with 1½ cups of stock. This was just a bit of beef bone stock that we had in the freezer, but do use whatever stock that you have around. Then just cover, bring it all up to a boil, and cook it for 2 minutes. Then just toss in all your seasonings, which are up here on the screen, and then thicken that by drizzling in a slurry of a tablespoon of starch, preferably potato starch, mixed with 2 tablespoons of water. Let it all cook down to thicken a touch, And once you're looking at something about this consistency, heat off and set it aside. Then, the next pretty important component here is, of course, the chili oil. Now again, if you happen to have some Sichuan chili oil hanging around, definitely use that. Use your favorite recipe. And I'll link the esteemed WANGs down in the description. That said, I always feel a little bad calling for a recipe inside of a recipe, sending you down some sort of recipe rabbit hole. So today, what we'll be leaning on instead is our adjusted Laogama chili crisp, as is, I guess, quickly becoming tradition here. To make it, to a wok, first toss in a 1/4 cup of oil. Again, preferably caijiao, or peanuts also nice, and heat that up till smoking. Then just shut off the heat, toss in 2 teaspoons of a red fragrant chili powder like Kashmiri Chinjiao or gochugaru, together with a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne for heat. Then add in 2 tablespoons of Laogama chili crisp, and mix that all over a low flame until fragrant, about 1 or 2 minutes. Then heat off and out. Then next, pickles. So we'll actually be using 2 types of pickled vegetables here today. The first one being Zhacai, Sichuan preserved vegetable, and the second being a bit of pickled daikon. Now, full disclosure that this latter bag was actually a Japanese kind. It's got a similar taste and texture to the Sichuan sort, but subbing or no, just chop those and the Zhacai into about 1 centimeter bits at first. Then, after that, we've also got this bit of fried minced pork. Now, if you're keeping veg, definitely know that on the street, this is a totally optional topping. So do feel free to skip it, but we personally like the addition. So, then to 250 grams of minced pork shoulder, aka Boston butt, just marinate that with a 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon sugar, a teaspoon of cornstarch, another teaspoon of soy sauce, teaspoon liaojiu, aka Shaoxing wine, a 1/4 teaspoon dark soy sauce for color, together with a 1/4 teaspoon white pepper powder. Mix well, and then we can fry. So, to a heated wok, first add in 2 tablespoons of oil. Give it a swirl, and start to fry a bit of minced garlic and ginger over a medium flame. Once those are fragrant, after about 30 seconds, toss in the pork as well, continuously breaking it up into a mince and frying it until cooked and the colors deepened, about 5 minutes, and then out. Then the last bit to prep, garlic water. Now, this stuff is super simple. All you need to do to make it is just pound 1 large clove of garlic into a fine paste, then mix it with 2 tablespoons of water, and that's that. So then, with that last bit sorted, now let's mix up some noodles. So, to a big mixing bowl, add in 100 grams of your cooked noodles, 40 grams each mashed potatoes and soup sauce, 30 grams pork, 1/2 tablespoon each Zhacai and pickled daikon, a tablespoon of crushed roasted peanuts, a tablespoon of your garlic water, a teaspoon each soy sauce and dark Chinese vinegar, a 1/4 teaspoon Sichuan peppercorn powder, an 1/8 teaspoon MSG, a tablespoon and 1/2 of our chili oil, 1 tablespoon each chopped scallion and cilantro, and then mix that super well. Transfer it over to a little serving bowl, something a bit like this for street food authenticity bonus points, optionally topped with a little more meat, chili oil, and herbs. And then with that, your mashed potato noodles are good to devour.
So, besides all the topping that we did today on the street, I've also seen 酸豆角, pickled long beans, or jargon fish wort, or sometimes I've even seen people like frying their mashed potato with some chili oil and make it all red. So this is still a very new dish, and we're all part of the process of making it. So let's just have fun, make your own, and see what we can all come up with. So right, check out the recipe in the description box. A big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon, and of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.